Hello everyone, and this is Jebro, and welcome to the Engineer Meta Builder Toolkits, and with the Elixir S. This is a pretty standard build that we see in SPVP at the moment, but a couple of people asked me if I could just go through it, explain the basics, and explain the sigils, traits, and of course the utilities, and a couple of little combos, but I will do a gameplay video as well, which better describes that. So as you can see here, at the moment I am in the grenade kit, of course, and I am using the pistol with the shield, and also, of course, with the healing turret, the grenade kit, the toolkit, and also with the Elixir S and the supply crate. As you can see here, we've got regenerating mist on the tool belt, the grenade barrage, the throw wrench, and also the toss Elixir S. Now, this is the build. I played this build before the April patch as well, when we were still, I can't remember which tree we're in now because it's been so long. But this build is, it was also more to do with bombs as well, and I don't play with bombs in this build. You can go with free kits, but Elixir S I feel like gives me a lot more survivability and a bit more, well, support as well for things like rezzing, just mitigating any burst damage on me, and also toss Elixir S is very useful for the stealth, area stealth, because it does do AoE, so I use it for rezzing, also for just hiding our players to get in and out of points sometimes. It's very, very brief, of course, but it is still very useful. 5 seconds isn't too bad at all, really. And the cooldown, of course, is quite large, but by the time you get around to using it, it doesn't really feel like it's a big cooldown. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go through the weapons, and I'm going to go through the sigils and also the rune and the amulet. So going for the pistol, of course, we do have the fragmentation shot. As you can see, it does bleeding and whatnot as well. It is a combo projectile finisher as well. Poison dart volley now. Poison is very, very good, of course, using it on downed opponents and whatnot, and actually to decrease their healing, regeneration, and stuff like that. And the number of darts is 5, so it's quite nice application of that poison as well. Static shot, of course, confusion is very, very good, and also the blind. Now, it's going to blind them, and of course if they do some abilities afterwards, the confusion is going to be nice with that damage on their skill use as well. So that's also very, very helpful, and it does bounce between the different targets as well, which is pretty sweet. Magnetic shield. Now you can just use it to actually reflect projectiles, of course, but if you use it again, you do a blast, and it is a pushback as well. So it's a very, very handy blast to come in with this, to combo up with anything that's on the point, say fire fields, or to get some retaliation up or anything like that, to get some area stealth. But yeah, it is bloody useful. And then going over to static shield, which is, as you can see, electrify your shield, preparing to throw it at foes. If you are hit, the shield discharges, stunning your nearby attacker, which is very nice for some defensive, especially if you're on point versus someone else, and I've not got bombs or anything, so this is very nice, especially if I've got like a Hambo warrior or something, and they're going to start doing some stunning. I can kind of just stun them back a little bit, so it's not too bad at all. And also the throw shield is very good, and is a physical projectile, and is quite nice in combination with things like regenerating mist, and also you can use that throw wrench with regenerating mist as well, which gives you a bit of regeneration, extra regeneration when that comes back to you. So it's quite good. I do like the setup there. It gives me a bit of defensive ability there. Now, some people you can go with Celestial and go with rifles sometimes as well, but to be honest, I really think that's the best combination of weapons for this build at the moment. Sigil of Geomancy, of course, very good, inflicting even more bleeding. There is a chance that I can create bleeding on explosions, which is in the traits, so sometimes you might feel like this is a bit overkill, but you can change it as you will and wish. Sigil of Hydromancy, damage nearby foes and chill them for 2 seconds. Very, very nice. Chill, of course, is going to reduce cooldowns on weapon skills, which is always very, very good. Extra conditions are always good because this is mainly a condition build. Going over to Rune of Balthazar, which is pretty standard as well. There's nothing really new in this build. Again, I'm just explaining it for people, newer people maybe, and casual people that want to get into Engineer. This is a very nice build at the moment. Until changes come in, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I still think this is going to be quite a strong build. As you can see from the rune, it is mainly condition damage, of course, plus the burning duration, which is very nice. Also, when you're below 20% health, you do gain quickness, so you can use some abilities to get you out of the poo, I will say. This is always very good, so you can just get out of the point, you know, get your healing together, maybe pop into the toolkit and use the fourth ability to shield off and to just kind of almost run away, and you also just maybe using that stealth and that Elixir S combo to actually get out of there quite quickly. But you have to be quite good and quite fast, because the quickness is only 5 seconds. The 6 pieces you see there, plus 20% burning duration when you use a healing skill. Plus 20% burning duration, and then when you use a healing skill, nearby foes are burned for 5 seconds. And that heal, obviously, as you can see, the cooldown is quite low, but if you do blast it, it is increased to 20 seconds. Let's just double check that. I'll just pick it up. Yeah, there you go. For 15 seconds if you just pick it up, and it's 20 seconds if you blast it, of course. Right, so going back into the build, sorry about that. Let's have a look at the traits. And the traits are 60062. We'll go through the top line first. So, set a time charge that damages foes when it explodes. That is basically every time you dodge, you do get a bomb when you're in combat, of course, and not when you're out of combat. So that's going to do some extra damage. And you will see also the extra vulnerability stacks that come into that. Shrapnel, so explosions have a chance to cause bleeding. So it's only 15% chance, and I can show you by throwing some grenades as well. It's an extra condition damage tick, and to be honest, you know, it's not a bad extra condition to have. You know, you want to pressurize with some as many conditions as you possibly can, and especially when you're throwing grenades and you've got your explosions popping off. That extra bleeding is very nice indeed, and it's quite good as well in combination with the again with reserve mines, which also inflict vulnerability, of course. You release those when you do reach the health threshold of 25%. Incendiary powder, critical hits inflict burning, so a lot of the time we'll be doing a lot of burning, hopefully, and in combination with Balthazar Rune as well, the duration does get increased, so that's really, really nice. And that damage, as you can see, 4.2k is pretty sweet. Steel packed powder, explosions cause vulnerability. Now, is a very, very, very good, especially if I'm just popping off grenades here, there, and everywhere. I mean, I can just quickly jump down here and show you as well. If we have a look at this heavy golem down here. Sorry, that's actually just. We'll go back into the grenade, shall we? So just popping off, you can see. Look at the vulnerability stacks, because I'm throwing 3 grenades as well. That's insane. You know, it's permanently applying vulnerability, which is an extra, you know, 1% damage for each stack of vulnerabilities. 24% extra damage when you've got them up. So really, if you can just build that vulnerability up and then pop your major abilities, that's quite nice. But you know, you don't always have that that option, and you need to just kind of do the damage you need to do at the time. But the more vulnerability, the better for your team, and you know. That's the way it is. Grenadier is pretty nice. You know, you throw grenades further, and each grenade kit skill produces an extra grenade, which means extra vulnerability and extra chance to get burning and what not. And I can show you how big the range is. It's pretty big. Let's just backpedal. I'll never backpedal ever. Right, okay, you see there. That is massive. Massive range, you know. You can grenade onto a point, giving like a lot of pressure as well, and it's absolutely beautiful. Actually, I love it. I think it's great. Look at the amount of fun just with that grenade kit. It's pretty epic right there. You can see the damage ticks. You do get about 602 burning. Of course, that is with no might or anything else. So going over to the next straight line, which is going to be Alchemy. So 0 in firearms, 0 in inventions. Pardon me, I've got a bit of a cough. So Elixir B, you drink that when you are below the health threshold of 75%, which gives you Fury, Might, Retaliation, and Swiftness. So sometimes it's good to be at 75% health, because you will get those extra boons, which is pretty nice, and increases your survivability as well. This is very much a survivable trait line. Going into the next smaller trait, Invigorating Speed. So standard with the speedy kits, of course, you gain Swiftness when you also gain Vigor. And of course that goes with the gaining Swiftness whenever you equip a kit. So I'm gaining Vigor permanently, and my regeneration of endurance and whatnot is pretty nice, and my dodging. Then going over to transmute, which is going to be incoming conditions have a chance to convert into boons. Now, there's a big trouble with Engineer with condition removal, pretty much because the only one you've got, especially because I'm not running anything else, is the healing turret, of course. So it's pretty important to have that. It's quite nice, and it's a 100% chance as well. And you do end up with a lot of boons. Actually, it's pretty nice, that little minor tray. I do like that. So going into backpack regenerator, so regenerate health every second when using a kit, and the base is 117 health. So I can show you that actually if we go up to someone up here, how much healing that actually does. And I'll just show you a quick fight. It won't be anything pro, I suppose, but you know, here we go. And also, in conjunction with this minor trait here, works quite well with the transmute as well. So you get more conditions. The conditions come into you, and they get turned into boons, and then you do deal extra damage for each boon on you. Now, you're not going to have a lot of boons on you, so sometimes getting a few conditions is actually quite nice if they do get converted. And obviously in team fights as well, if you're comboed up with, say, an Ellie, or anyone that can disperse any kind of boonage, that's going to be pretty sweet to have that extra damage. Only 1%, but you know, everything matters. Protection injection is very good. A 5-second cooldown as well is very sexy. So you gain protection whenever you are disabled, which is going to be a stun, daze, knockdown, knockback, launch, float, sink, or fear. Which, you know, is important. If you get fear chained by like a necro or something, you've got protection on you, it's going to decrease that incoming damage. And it's the same with things like warriors and whatnot, which is, you know, it's a lifesaver. It's very survivable, this trait line. You've got your DPS trait line there, and then you've got your survivable traits here. Very simple. Adrenaline pump, of course, using toolwork skills partially restores endurance, which is always nice. And then, of course, I did mention the speedy kits, which is down there. So you've got permanent swiftness really across the map, and you do have that regen, of course. And the extra, you do have those 2 boons on you, so that's going to increase your damage. It should do anyway. So in terms of combos, really, with this build, there isn't as many as you could say with like a bomb kit, of course, because you know, you've got AoE that you can actually have on the ground, that you can actually blast. Other than, of course, you do have like the poison, of course, grenade there, which does inflict the area weakness as well as having that poison. You can just see the amount of conditions that are coming onto that body now as well, if you can actually knock them off properly. Which is, I kind of did that. That was okay. One combo which is nice, which you can just see I just did there as well, is using the regenerating mist with the throw wrench as well, which gives you a little bit of extra regeneration, or it used to. I'm not 100% sure if that happens anymore. So in this situation, you do have a safe stomp with the Elixir S, of course. If you go for the down and then pop the Elixir S, don't pop it straight off. And I would only use that in team fight situations. Really when we need a stomp and I need to jump into the middle of the fight to get that. Never use it straight off when you go for the down, because you are still susceptible, because the amount of time that the Elixir X actually pops off, it comes off about midway through the downing motion. So you want to pop it maybe just on the way up or something like that. So then that's normally quite a good way of doing it. Another way to stomp also is, let's just kill this guy quickly. Applying poison. You're going to put even more down. And the blinding bomb is really good. I did just miss that then, actually. Just put some confusion on. You can see the amount of conditions that are coming onto him now as well. So I'm just doing this to show you as an example. Area stealth here, the toolkit 4 in stealth will probably come out of that actually as a get down, but there you go. Not many people expect engineers to go for stealth downs as well, so it's a nice surprise, because sometimes they'll obviously realise that that's happening, but it's a nice way to get a down in this situation. They can't target you to actually use an ability to knock you down either, so you might want to use that on things like warriors, or where you basically need a target to interrupt. Probably not as good for guardians, because they can do the AoE knockback and you will still get knocked back. But it's pretty nice. So going over to, of course, the grenades, just to have a quick talk about those. as you can see, that's just mainly the you throw grenades. That's your first ability. That's going to give you all the vulnerability stacks as well. The second ability, of course, is going to be shrapnel, which causes bleeding, of course, which is very sweet indeed. Again, applying vulnerability. These grenades are blinding grenades. Now, they're very, very, very good. Of course, we do need to keep them. If we can keep some blinds up, that's nice. Look at that blind grenade. Gave us bleeding as well, and vulnerability is very nice indeed. So, and does, of course, you can see if you don't know what blinding is, it does say there, next outgoing attack misses. So if you can apply the blinds as well, especially if you know they're going to do something bursty and you can see those animations, if you can pop those off, that's pretty sweet and pretty good as well. He's still following me around, that's a bit cheeky. Supply crate, let's have a look at that. Put that down. It does cause the interrupt and this mini stun, of course, and it causes a lot of damage, especially with the other turrets that are coming in, and it's going to give you all these little packs that you can pick up, and it will give you some healing. Now I will just, there you go, you can see the healing there, 117, 130. That's from the sorry, regen. Obviously there's regen there as well, but then there's the kit heal when you're in the actual kit itself, which is going to give you some nice healing. There we go. So again, going halfway through, and of course when you change as well, you do get that weapon swap for the sigils. So when you use elixir, it is another way of switching into your sigils and to get the hydromancy and whatnot as well, which is pretty nice actually. I do like that fact. Swapping weapons and stuff is very important because you do inflict more conditions, and you do want to try and do that as much as you can, so you can also keep your regeneration of your endurance up, of course, and also so you can just gain the extra swiftness as well, so you can get around the point quicker, and you can actually kite quite well, because of course you can throw grenades as you're running away. You can, like this, as try and have the camera behind you, and you can just throw those grenades, and you can just switch direction quite easily as well, you know. It's quite a nice way of doing it, if you ask me. So, gonna have a look at quickly at the, oh god, I didn't go into the final grenades, of course. Freeze grenade, chilled, there you go, movement speed and also skill recharge rate, there you go. So you want to try and, that's something nice to do if you want to increase your kiting ability as well. If you can try and get off the freeze grenades, that's really going to help you. So you can chill them, so their movement speed is of course decreases their healing, because they can't heal as fast, especially if they're just healed. If you can actually see that they've used their abilities as well, and you can use that to actually reduce their to increase their cooldowns, sorry, that's pretty nice. But you know, you've got to know all the animations of each class and stuff like that. I did show you the poison grenade. Of course, it does cause damage and also condition, and also does minus 33% healing effectiveness, which is always very, very good, especially if you've got a downed corpse. You do want to try and put that poison down. Let's just go against the Guardian again, and so I can show you what I would do in this situation. That's personally, of course, for me. Try not to actually use the bloody thing. He's healing quite a lot, actually. That's very cheeky. That's for a trick, isn't it? Try and put. See, I missed there with quite a lot of my grenades. I think I'm just paranoid that I don't want it to randomly kill me, because that would not make for a good video. As you can see, the stun came off there as he did his ability. So I'd normally jump into the grenade kit, put the poison down on everyone as well that's trying to heal as well. It does decrease that effectiveness, of course, and it does help to apply extra pressure so that someone can get the down, also that we can actually just cleave down the body, and yeah, it helps a lot basically. So, going finally into the toolkit, as you can see here, we have Smack, Whack, and Thwack. Smack does extra vulnerability, which is extra 2 stacks, so that's 2% incoming damage. Whack your foe, the extra vulnerability there. And also the Thwack your foe repairs turrets. And you do see that on number 2. So repairing turrets is pretty good. We haven't really got any turrets that we're going to use for a long time, so it's not really that, you know, important. Box of Nails is very good, does cause the extra bleeding, and the cripple is nice. Again, if you're trying to kite, or if you need to get away to do that, you can cripple them, and it does decrease their movement speed by 50%. The confusion on this is very nice, the 5 stacks. That's 737 damage on skill use, which is very sweet indeed. And I do try to, because sometimes I do combo that up with the magnet, which actually, so I'll pull the Mesmer towards me now, pull him towards me, then use 3, and then I'll start, you know, my barrage of grenades just on the body. You can see how many conditions there I got onto him, which was pretty nice actually. And yeah, already he's almost dead. I mean, I can get rid of that vulnerability stack if I want to, but I don't need to. But that's how it goes. Obviously, the Mesmerizer are going to normally stand there and take that damage. But so you get the gist of the toolkit. The major, really important ability there as well is the gear shield. Now, I'll just go up against this NG and I'll use that. I'll show you. Just blow up that turret. So he's obviously trying to hit me now. So I'm blocking 3-second block, and I blocked a lot of, not too much damage, but you get the idea. You know, if you need to, if you're really in trouble, really just save it for when you need to actually, when you're really in trouble. I mean, you don't want to use it all the time. It's not something that you need to actually utilize a lot. I would use it really in situations when you're in trouble, or you need to be on the point, or you need to hold the point against 2 enemies, or you need to hold the point against someone, and while you're trying to get someone to help support or run away. Different, you know, it's a defensive ability, so use it wisely, and I'd say use it also similar way to static shield. But yeah, so that's pretty much the build, guys. Pretty good. I'm loving it. I will do a gameplay video as well to show you how I play this. This is my favourite build on Engineer at the moment, other than, you know, I like playing turrets. I just like playing turrets. So I kind of like the whole design of it. And, right, it's got AI and everything like that. But this build, you know, it's a bit more skillful. You can kite a lot as well. And, you know, it's this fun build. And if you can play it and play it well, you are very effective, but it is very susceptible to conditions like Necro. Also, Mesmer have a couple of problems with sometimes. Thieves are a bit easier because I almost use my grenades just as bombs on the floor around me. So if I know a thief's coming in, I'll kind of plant poison down and I'll just start lobbing grenades, you know. And it does so much AoE that it's almost enough of a deterrent to just throw them away. But I'll try and obviously not move too much when I'm doing that. So guys, that's pretty much the build. Thank you very much for watching. Please drop some comments below. This is not new, like I said. This is something that people have been playing for a while. You can play free kits, you can play bombs, you can change some of these traits up to really how you play and how you do things. This is the way I play it, which is actually quite usual for most players actually. Some people will use the elixir gun, of course. Some people use the bomb kit. I know even a couple of people that just use a turret in there, or also they use rocket boots or something like that. But this is the way I play it, and I hope you enjoy this. I hope it gave you some basic description of what stuff does, how you use the abilities, what situations, and I'll try and discuss that more in a gameplay video. But thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.